Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I must state it's very important so that we have a level playing field. The rules are very clear. Please, no partisan chanting, cheering, yelling, or clapping. Let's hear what each candidate has to say. And the rules, once again, for the opening presentation, 5 minutes for each candidate. For the questions, 3 minutes allowed. And we will be fair because if a particular question is asked to a particular candidate first, the next time around we'll ask the other candidate first. So we're going to keep it very balanced and very fair. It's very important. Okay. So, and also, if you have an opinion, if you have something that's burning that you want to ask, you will get the opportunity later on in the program. We have a limited time. We must get it started. We must get it done. Okay. So panelists, are you ready? Okay. Fantastic. We're about to kick it off right now, ladies and gentlemen. So please get ready. Lagos State is very blessed. We have two gentlemen with us who ordinarily in any other state, they will probably win the elections hands down. But they are going up against each other in probably the biggest economy in Nigeria in terms of your states. So today, it is about getting to know them, getting to find out what their plans are. As we mentioned earlier on, we're about to embark and give them a chance to make a presentation and to let us know, and the business sector, why they should be the next governor of this great state, Lagos. So ladies and gentlemen, please, first to the podium. Can you give a round of applause, please, for the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Welcome, Mr. Akinwumi Ambode.
The President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the ESCO members of the Chamber, the panelists, and everyone seated here. My name is Akinwumi Ambode. I was born 51 years ago. I was born in Ekpe, which is the eastern parts of Lagos State. I have had the privilege to have attended the best schools locally and internationally. I started my career at Lagos State Waste Disposal Board in 1985, which is an important agency of government. I worked as treasurer in several local governments where I developed a deep understanding of how government works at the grassroots level. I also acquired a deep understanding of how local government finances operate and its impact on our citizens. Thereafter, I became the Auditor General for local government, where I had an overview of the 57 local government and SCDAs and the way they operate. This was, in essence, a larger stage for me to operate and develop my knowledge of how the entire local government system operates. I then moved on to become the Auditor General and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance at the age of 37, where I had even larger stage to open and interact and learn from two different governors in which this state had produced. Beyond that, I have worked in a company that you can refer to as Lagos State Government. And in doing all that for 27 years, I built all my skills and experience to become what you can refer to today as a managing director of that company. I've also worked as an entrepreneur in the private sector. I opened up a consulting firm that actually specialized in public financial management. I haven't gone to school to earn my skills at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government on public financial management. So I've developed some kind of partnership in the areas which I found myself in my career. I come with the experience in the private sector and also a deeper experience from the public service. I have been an employer of labor, and I also understand what it takes to run a business in the private sector. I want to be the governor because I believe with my experience in the private sector, joined with the public sector experience, there is still more that I can do for my state, and that's why I want to serve. I believe strongly that public service is a noble service. Throughout my career, I've developed myself internally and also externally. I have cutting-edge skills to prepare me for the different tasks that is ahead of me as the governor of Lagos State. I obtained my ICANN qualification at the age of 24. I became a graduate at 21. I got to the peak of my career at 37. If you're looking for somebody that has cognate experience to run this company called Lagos State, that's the person that is in me. What I just need to tell you, if we took Lagos State as a construction site, I can say clearly that I've been a plumber, I've been a carpenter, I've been a foreman, I've been a supervisor. What I want now is for you to join hands with me to make me the project manager for the next 4 years. And then what's my vision? My vision is to see a clean, secure, and more prosperous Lagos State that is driven with service, driven with equity and justice, and a robust economy. My message is still the same. My message is the message of Lagos, where L stands for leadership. And we're looking for strong leadership. I open myself up to say I'll be accountable, and that's where A is. And G, to give you good governance, where we have all opportunities for everyone to thrive in Lagos, and then I give you selfless service. And what are the key issues for us here? There are 4 cardinal issues that we need to look at in the development of Lagos State. We're looking at the economic development pillar, in which we can create a thriving economy, a thriving business environment for all our private sector investors to be able to thrive comfortably, and then make cost of governance so comfortable and cheap for them. Beyond that, we'll be looking at our social infrastructure, where we are able to ensure that all things that we lay down is for the benefit of our people. And that was the essence of what we're saying. We ensure that there's security in the states. Lagos has become safer in the last 7 years. And then the whole gamut of what we want is to create more jobs for our people. Nobody can create jobs than all the people that are seated here. It's for us to create an enabling environment for all of you, to allow us join hands together as partners to create jobs for our youths. Beyond that. Thank
you, sir. I'm sorry, time is up, sir. Can we have a round of applause, please, for the APC candidate? We'd like to welcome to the podium Mr. Jimmy Agbaje, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, sir, just before you, please, as we mentioned earlier on, just keep it civil, polite applause, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Olisa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me especially recognize the President of the Chamber, the executive members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jimmy Agbaje, the gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos State. I'm a pharmacist by profession, 57 years old, born and bred in Lagos, an indigene of Lagos State. Let me say that I've lived all my life here in Lagos, except, of course, for my university education, which I did at the university, the then University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University. A very proud Nigerian, a proud and even prouder Lagosian. I've traveled across different parts of the world, of the globe, and I've seen cities. I've seen global mega cities. I've seen cities that have grown. I come and say that my state, this city-state, can be a much better city-state. So I look at a Lagos that is a global mega city, populated by well-educated, highly skilled, healthy people living in a secure and prosperous environment. I'm looking at a Lagos that brings opportunities to everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone, irrespective of their socio-economic background, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their tribe or religion. A Lagos that is more business-friendly, bearing in mind that it is the economic hub of our country and the sub-region. So I look at a Lagos that must be more business-friendly. And it's on that note that the agenda, at least as it affects the business community, is set. I come from a private sector background. I started as a small what you call a small entrepreneur. Started with a one pharmacy shop, and I've grown my business in a way that we have gone into manufacturing. In fact, first took the first steps of small-scale manufacturing before setting up what you could call a factory. We have represented multinationals in this country as far as pharmaceuticals are concerned. So I know that if we want to run an economy, a Lagos economy, that is driven by the private sector, I know where the shoe pinches. So I'm coming on board and saying that our agenda is set by the realities that we have today. We have the macro level realities where the oil price has come down to below $50 and is estimated that it could reach $40. That in itself brings challenges to our economy in Lagos. And that means that we have to look at doing things differently. We're looking at an economy where with the oil price drop and all, we're going to have an economy that our foreign our allocation from the federal is likely to shrink. Income from taxes and VAT will reduce. Even the IGR will be affected if the economy remains so. We estimate that this will be so for the next 2 years or so. And that means, and we also have that combined with the national reforms going on in our country, the rail system, for example. These are issues that are likely to affect Lagos. Lagos, it means that Lagos will lose some of its competitive advantage as we move forward. If you use the rail system, for example, it means that industries may find it more convenient to take their businesses to where the raw material is and begin to ship their finished products to Lagos. It means that some of our residents will find it more convenient to stay outside Lagos and come by rail to Lagos. So there is the issue that we cannot take for granted that Lagos will continue to thrive. And so our agenda is set that if we want to affect that, then the micro level realities, the issues of security, the issues of infrastructure development, the issue of labor and manpower, these are issues that will affect us as we move on. The issue of the cost of doing business in Lagos. And so our agenda is set for us, where we're able to say it is time for us to look at these issues in a way that we can move forward. And so we're saying that the way forward for Lagos, bearing in mind these realities, is a diversified economy. We need to diversify the economy of Lagos much more than we are today. We need to look at new areas. We're talking of specialized economy. We're looking at specialized economy. Is it time? Oh, really?
Yes, sir. Please. Time up. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We now move on to the part where it's the Q&A from our panelists. What will happen is the panelists will ask a question to one candidate, and he will get 3 minutes to respond, and the same question will be offered to the other candidate, and he will have 3 minutes as well to respond. So please, once again, can we keep some decorum in the hall? Keep all the clapping and chanting and cheering to a bare minimum, please. We're going to start, as we started with the APC candidate first of all. This time around, we're going to start with a candidate from the PDP. And the first question is from Gabriel. Please, Gabriel, go ahead, sir.
Candidates, we want to welcome you to this session. The first question is on the economy. The Lagos State is Africa's 5th largest economy. What big plans do the candidates have to sustain the growth trajectory of the Lagos economy? As the moderator has said, first candidate will take the question for 3 minutes, and then the second candidate. And I will urge the timekeeper to make himself more visible to candidates so that they are aware at the time that they have about a minute left so that they can properly round up their presentations. So the first candidate, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, basically, like I was saying, I think you've helped me out a bit, that we're looking at a more diversified economy for Lagos. We have to look at new areas, and we're taking one, the issue of what we call the ocean economy. We are surrounded, in fact, we're on water in Lagos, but we have not yet tapped the potentials. And our ocean economy is looking at a new frontier where we take Ikorodu-Ekpe axis and begin to look at how we can make that axis a national fish processing hub. What that means is that your processing and all the value chain benefits of this will come into place. We're looking at using our ocean economy to be also go into the boat industry, into the repair industry of boat engines and all. We're looking at a logistics base. These are new frontiers that we have to begin to take advantage of. We're talking in terms of how we make infrastructure development, for example, that we must bring the private sector involved in infrastructure development, housing, transportation, more than it is today, so that we can begin to see some benefits in this. We're looking at, of course, like I said, cost of doing business. We have to reduce the cost of doing business. We're looking at having a one-stop investment center, similar to what you have at the national level, but for more like the investment promotion, where a lot of the issues that affect business can be addressed better at the state, realizing that we need to have people coming in to Lagos.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Can we ask the other candidate to respond as well to the same question, sir? Would you like to have the question again? Gabriel?
Do you remember the question, candidate Ambode?
Yes, I'm fine. Yes, it's true that Lagos is the 7th largest economy. In population-wise, Lagos is larger than 32 countries in Africa. GDP of Lagos, as we speak, is $30 billion. In 2013, it was $109 billion. GDP now is $133 billion. That's giving you almost like 27 trillion. So what does that mean for us? It means that if we want to grow the economy of Lagos, even in terms of what we have, it is a clear fact that 10% of Lagos economy is in the formal sector. Almost 90% is informal. And we've already, stated it, that we can double the GDP of Lagos if we improve on the economy of the informal sector. When we harness what we have in Lagos, we'll be able to multiply that GDP. And GDP is talking about the combination of the goods and services that, drives the economy. So our own intention is to improve on the business environment for every entrepreneur and every businessman to thrive in Lagos. And in doing so, we will expand the economy in a manner that will allow us to expand our GDP. Beyond that, we intend to create more jobs. And creating these jobs is also in addition to allowing youth and those who are unemployed to have access to finance. We intend to create an employment trust fund that in the first 4 years, the government will be putting 25 billion down to allow each division have access to 1 billion each in every year. So all these are our youths that are unemployed, and even the small-scale entrepreneurs that don't have finance will have access to such finances that will expand and grow the economy.
Thank you, sir. We have the next question, please. Next question is from Ni. It's going to be to the APC candidate, please.
All right, thank you. Beyond the Niger Delta, where we produce oil, Apapa in Lagos is one of the highest revenue generation area in Nigeria. Yet, access to Apapa is very difficult. Doing business with Apapa is almost a nightmare. What are your plans, both candidates, to improve accessibility and the ease of doing business in Apapa?
There's no one that doesn't want business to grow in his economy. But when you look at that Apapa traffic gridlock, what we have there is a fallout of the inefficiency of the federal government, which is controlled by the PDP. Of all the roads that you have in Lagos, 117 of those roads actually belong to the federal government, of which Apapa Expressway is one of them. There's nothing that APC government has not done to allow business to thrive in that axis. Each time we even try to relocate the traffic congestion and the tankers there, we always have this bottleneck and frustration from the federal government. Beyond what you see, we've expanded to ensure that we have additional seaports in Badagry and Lekki to easing out the kind of challenges that we're having in our proper area. Beyond that, we believe strongly also that there are additional infrastructure that are being used as alternatives to allow business to expand in that axis itself.
I would like to throw the question to the other candidate, sir.
Yes, I'm probably more affected than most here because I happen to stay in Apapa. So I know how it feels to be in Apapa. I think the way forward is very clear. In the first place, if we're running our Lagos as a global mega city, as a Lagos that is the economic hub, while accepting that there are constitutional provisions, we must realize the kind of opportunities that will be thrown open if we make Apapa more conducive. And so from a state government point of view, it is that all must be done to work with the federal government. And the ways that we can do this are, one, we have to put the rail system back. There is a national reform going on where, like I said, the rail system is finally getting back up. And it's to extend these services to the new port of, relatively newer port of Tinkan Island. You have this at the Apapa ports, but most of the goods are coming to Tinkan, and you have to extend the rail system there. And it's something that the state government must be able to enable to happen, because we cannot stay any longer in Lagos if we want to move. If we're talking of the fourth or the fifth largest economy in the world, it means our economy is nearly as big as that of Nigeria. And therefore, we mustn't begin to look at Nigeria's economy as a big brother. We must begin to look at the Nigerian economy as a partner, rather than waiting for the federal government to do everything in Lagos. That does not mean that we do not... Is time?
Thank you, time up. Thank you,
Sorry.
thank you, thank you.
Sorry, can I say something?
Panelists, would you allow? Yeah? Okay.
My opponent, I just said, is thinking of a rail system. The one that is inconveniencing. Everybody is not happy about that, what is happening in that area. You've not actually even told us that you want to reconstruct or maintain that road to make it even so convenient for all the people seated there.
The road is being reconstructed as we speak.
So where are we going to get the money for the rail system?
But we know that the road is not going to solve the problem of Apapa.
How is the road?
The road can never solve the problem of Apapa.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We have... thank you. We have next question is going to come from Funke. And the question will be for the PDP candidate, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Eco Atlantic City is a large real estate development project that will change the shoreline of large sections of Lagos and create a new city within the city. What are your views and plans regarding this project and real estate developments of this kind in Lagos?
Right. Now, for Eco Atlantic City, it's still out there with the jury. One, in terms of the environmental impact assessment. If you understand what has happened to a lot of the estates along the Lekki axis, a lot of them were nearly wiped out. And there is still some controversy as to whether the EIA of Eco Atlantic City was done properly. Having said that, while accepting that we must expand Lagos, I would have rather loved that we have an Eco Atlantic City on the Badagry axis, on the Korodu axis, on the Ekpe axis. Because with the Eco Atlantic City, what you're doing is putting more pressure on that part of our Lagos. Global cities today, states today develop by creating new urban communities in different parts of their states and countries. We are continuing to develop only an area of Lagos that puts a lot of pressure on that side. However beautiful Eco Atlantic City may be, you have to still go through Victoria Island. You have to go to the island to get to that place. Whereas, if you had it at Badagry, for example, then you know that you're further decongesting the Lagos metropolis. So yes, it's good to expand our frontiers, but what we're saying is that there's still the jury out on whether the environmental impact assessment for Eco Atlantic City was properly done.
Thank you. Please respond from the APC candidate. Thank you. Response from APC candidate.
what I heard Mr. Agbaje say is that we should relocate the Atlantic City to Badagry. You know, that's laughable. But you know, let's just say something very clear. We have 9,000 hectares that is being reclaimed. There's nothing criminal or disturbing if you have new cities in your environment. What Eco Atlantic City stands to project is to create a new city where you can live and work. Is to create a new financial hub. Is to create a place where, as we speak, they even have a free trade zone permit that allows some new set of financial activities to start up in that place. So you don't necessarily have to go through anywhere. You don't have to be in Dubai or you don't have to be in New York to set up an international standard or business in Eco Atlantic City. That's what Eco Atlantic City offers us, and it will improve on your businesses. It will improve on your economy.
I think time is up, sir. Thank you. Okay, we have the next set of questions. Gabriel, the question will be for the APC candidate, please, sir.
Thank you. This question is on tax and related revenue. Tax and import and excise duties are currently not covered in the country's derivation criteria of the Federation's revenue formula. This has led to a massive denial of revenues to Lagos State from the Federation account. What strategies do the candidates have to push for a broader definition of the derivation elements from the federal government?
Thank you. We know that the derivation principle is a constitutional issue. So when we get into government, and this is what we've been doing, all issues that relate to taxation that has impinged on the economic profile of Lagos State government has always been fighting for it. So one of the issues that we intend to pursue is on the issue of derivation relating to sales tax and even the other taxes that we generate from here. And then we will take it to the National Assembly to ensure that there is an expansion in the content of the derivation principle that you have in the Constitution. Beyond that, you see one of the strategies that we've also used is to say that sales tax belong to the state. And there's a law that is even backing it up. In addition to that, value-added tax is supposed to be a state tax. But you know, in the past, the military government that we had as at 1985 went ahead to ensure that value-added tax was imputed as part of their own taxes. It belongs to the state. That's one of the things that we intend to fight for. Because when you talk in terms of derivation of sales tax and other taxes, it's only Lagos State that generates almost 70% of that sales tax. And we intend to pursue it alongside with VAT and other taxes that belong to Lagos State. Because we need those sources of revenue to expand on job creation in the state and to allow businessmen and entrepreneurs to also thrive in the state. That's what we intend to do.
Thank you, sir. Candidate.
Yeah, I think in a true federal system, the state, the constituting, the federating unit must benefit from the labor or the sweat or the issues that are generated from its own environment. To that extent, definitely I would support the idea that the state must tap into this new area. I mean, you're talking about import duties. We just talked about the ports, for example, and the inconvenience and the pressure that the ports have created in Apapa. So it is only proper, it's only equitable that the state must derive some income from that discomfort. So to that extent, we will continue to move in the frontier of getting more revenue or more different types of revenue to the coffers of Lagos State. Again, it is constitutional. We have to continue to argue our case, to present our case to the Nigerian population to understand that it is necessary especially in these times where the economy requires expansion. So we do support that Lagos must begin to tap or take advantage of this.
All right, sir. Thank you. I'm afraid time is up for that question. Okay, we'll move swiftly on because time is not on our side. Nee has got the next question, and that question is going to put firstly to the PDP candidate.
All right, thank you. Ease of doing business. Businesses complain a lot about multiple taxations, arbitrary fees, and fines. For instance, if you look at the ease of the World Bank report, construction permits in Lagos requires 13 procedures and a minimum of 77 days. To register a property will be 18 procedures and a minimum of 111 days. What would you do to make Lagos easier to do business with, to reduce the issue of multiple taxations and what have you?
Well, I think you've answered the question. You haven't even given the statistics. Let me add to it very quickly. This, our Lagos, is considered as the 137th state. That same report, you've probably been politically not saying it. 137th state in 140 different, cities in 140. We're the 4th worst city to get a construction permit. That is how bad it is. We're number 119 out of 120 cities to register property. And so what we're saying is that it is time to reduce the bureaucracy. Lagos State is guilty of taking regulation matters as a source of revenue. There are two different issues. That you're regulating on one hand, but you don't use the advantage of regulation to look at it as if it's a source of income. If you're talking about construction permits, you're talking about having buildings that are put in place. But what Lagos does is all those steps you've mentioned is just so that they can raise more money. Yes, it's good to raise money, but then there's the other side of it, and that's what you have. So we're saying that we're going to reduce that. Even within Nigeria, if you look at the survey done by the World Bank, Lagos is the worst state, the worst in Nigeria to get construction permits. It is number 36 out of 36. So we've got to change that to move Lagos from number 36 out of 36 to number 1 out of number 36.
This question is from Funke for the APC candidate.
We continue on economic issues, and the drop in oil prices means that we are going to get less revenue allocation over time in Lagos. As we've already mentioned, businesses are subject to the burden of multiple taxation, and Lagos State is able to somewhat withstand the fall in federal allocation because we have high IGR. Beyond the current IGR vehicles that Lagos State has, what creative means are you thinking about in terms of generating additional revenue, diversifying the economic base so we can actually improve the economy of Lagos? Because it's going to require funds to make this improvement and grow the economy.
Yes, it's true that the prices of crude oil has gone down. Lagos State in its budget, as of last year, from the Federation account, was projecting 139 billion naira from the Federation account. So technically, that is going to reduce this year. But, 2/3 of the revenue generated by Lagos State actually come from internally generated revenue. And they generate almost like 260 billion naira. How do we mitigate against that? As we speak, there are almost about half of taxable adults that are not in the tax net. So all that we can do is to improve on the efficiency of collection. We will use the e-platform to ensure that investors and businessmen can actually pay from their bedroom. And if we are able to expand the collection of of all those taxes that are due, we will be mitigating against the shortfall from the federal. But in addition to that, I have a project called Project Diz, I intend to integrate tourism, hospitality, entertainment and arts, and sports for excellence. We will have lower level jobs. We're going to create lower level jobs when we integrate that as a singular project. And then when we create those lower level jobs, we'll be creating more employment for our people who will be able to, pay up their obligations and pay taxes to the government. And by so doing, you would have expanded the sources of collection of internally generated revenue as against the shortfall in the federal VAT and federation account.
Thank you. Can we pass the question to the next candidate, PDP candidate, please?
Well, I think principally is that you need to look for new sources of collecting revenue, and that's by creating new economy. I'd mentioned the ocean economy, for example. It's a whole new industry. But I think more importantly is that you have to expand your tax net. I think Mr. Ambode, at a previous occasion that we were, did say that there are about 4 million Lagosians who pay tax, whereas 8 million are supposed to be paying tax. And so what you have today is a situation where 4 million people are being asked to pay for 8 million, making the burden very, very heavy. And so we have to expand this to get more people in innovative ways. And I think the way government reaches out to people is in the kind of services that are open to them. By the time you begin to give services, you begin to identify new people that come into the tax net. By the time you begin to provide social opportunities like health, like education, by the time you're improving your education, then people are getting better jobs. And in getting better jobs, they're able to pay more tax. Thank you.
Funke, he wants to add something?
Can I just add something, please? I keep hearing ocean economy. Please, can you explain what it means? And how does that generate revenue?
Mr. Agbaje, would you like to respond?
Oh, yeah, sure. I thought I had mentioned that at the beginning. Maybe Mr. Ambode was not very much attentive.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
I said that our ocean economy is talking about making our Lagos a national fish processing hub in this country. I said that expanding our ocean economy is about making Lagos a logistics base for the oil and gas industry. These are new economies that revolve around the water that we live in.
Thank you. Gabriel? Okay, thank you. Gabriel?
Both candidates, you live in Lagos, and you live in the transport situation in Lagos. What are your programs to deal with the whole gamut of transport issues in Lagos and move it to the level that you think Lagos should be as far as public transportation is concerned?
We cannot have a true global mega city that does not have an efficient transport system. And when we're talking about an efficient transport system, we're talking about an intermodal, transport system. And that means that we have to look at the road, we have to look at the rail, and we have to look at the water for Lagos. If we look at our road transportation, the BRT was a very good idea, but the implementation, was faulty. And that's why today you find that the BRT is no different from the Molues that we try to push off the roads. So we've got to be serious about the BRT, more serious than we have been. It's important that we take the light rail very seriously also. We have a light rail system that was supposed to have been ready in 2012. This is 2015. And what we're saying is that the model that has been used, the PPP model there, appears not to be as open and transparent. And that is why you're having the kind of delays that you're having on that axis. We need to have a PPP system in place for light rail where you have transparency, you have openness, it's competitive, and then the people will benefit from it. Of course, for water transportation, it's important that we take more advantage of our water. It takes barely 20 to 30 minutes from Ikorodu to the island by water. But today, if you go by road, it takes about 4 hours. And so we're saying that these are areas that we have to take take very, very seriously. Of course, it has to be in partnership with the private sector. It is something that is getting too late for us. You can't have a mega city of nearly 20 million people that does not have a transport system that works. I was a bit late today, 10 minutes late today, because I was caught in serious traffic. That should not happen. You should, in Lagos, in a mega city, a global mega city, be able to estimate your time of travel within 5 minutes. It is not so in Lagos and should not be so.
Thank you. Okay, we need a response from the APC candidate.
Our solution is very simple. It's an integrated transport management system that we intend to run. It's a combination of road, rail, walkways, air, and even tram system. But, you know, he said something about light rail. Thank God you have accepted that light rail is good. Between Okokomaiko and CMS, when that light rail system is finished, it will only take you like 15 minutes with 6 stops. But this is the only country in which a light rail system is being run and is being financed by the state government. There's nowhere in the world that the federal government does not partake in the construction of light rail system. But again, thanks to the PDP government that you have in the system, they want to frustrate our people. They don't want our people to live comfortably.
Thank you. Yeah.
Just go and check it. It's the only River State and Lagos State that have done the light rail system with their own finances. I stand to be corrected. Beyond that, on the waterways, we have 236 licensed operators who are on these waterways, ferrying 1.5 million people every day. Look, waterways is just the same thing as road construction. You cannot just put the ferry and say it should sail. You need to construct the path that the ferries will take. It takes money. You need to dredge. If anybody comes here to tell you that they have some alternative means of doing it, our intention is to ensure that our people move from one point to the other safely and more comfortably. And that's what we will do. That's what we've been doing, and we'll continue to do it.
Can I just have just a minute on this, please?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yes. I think Mr. Ambode misses the point. The light rail, just like I said, it is the PP, or it's the model that is being used that has not allowed us to see the reality of that light rail on Okokomaiko axis. You just said it. It's government. Government cannot. What you should have is a model where government is like a road. If I relate it to the road network, government builds the roads and allows the private sector to run transportation. Government will build the rail line and allow the private people to carry the passengers. But there is this issue of vested interest in our Lagos, where some people want to take all the business at the expense of the people. And
Thank you.
Sorry.
Can we, Mr.
No, just one comment.
The APC candidate would like to respond.
Just one comment. Simple one. Let's get this right. Mr. Gwaje is standing here. He says that he believes so much in PPP that it should be a public-private partnership project. Very good. The only one that we have done successfully, which is the Lekki Toll Gate, which is a PPP project. Just 1 second. One second.
Thank you.
The one we've done successfully, which is a PPP project, he goes out there and says he will cancel it.